Next up in the middleweight division, we got Susurkaev coming in at minus 650, going up against Jordan Santos, who comes in at plus 475. Now, Susurkaev looking for his 12th straight victory here. Last time around, coming up big against Eric McConaughey, getting that left hook knockout in the third round. Beautiful performance from him there in terms of dealing with a stiffer opponent than Eric Nolan, right? We saw Susurkaev get his contract on the Contender Series last season, getting that nasty body kick finish over Murtaza Talha, and then 4 days later turns it around so he can fight on the same card as Khamzat Chimaev, a close training partner of his. And we saw him, have a little bit of difficulty late against Eric Nolan, who was able to hurt Susurkaev very badly. But then Susurkaev, saved by the bell, got back to work in the second round and eventually forced a finish there. Then he took the necessary time off, came back against Eric McConaughey, utilized his pressure, his solid striking ability to really pick McConaughey apart and then eventually find that finish. Now, I believe he is kind of overhyped. Like, I think he's good. I think he is a guy that can get to the rankings, but I think he'll eventually fall short in terms of actually challenging for a title. He's still 25, so he could prove me wrong, but I believe his confidence and his ego in certain spots will eventually come to bite him in the ass, just as it nearly did against Eric Nolan. But I think given how the UFC is slowly bringing him along, he might be able to get into the rankings, get close to title contention, but there are still a lot of holes in his game that we need to improve upon. His wrestling is decent. His striking is really where he makes his money, right? Very good slick striker, fast, powerful, likes to throw a lot of flashy strikes, likes to get in the head of his opponents as well in terms of just, making them, kind of breaking them with kind of showboating and really capitalizing on a lot of those moments as well. So he looks good. He has a solid training camp as well, good training partners, as we obviously know. And I think the UFC is bringing him on at a proper rate. He's going up against Jordan Santos, who was relatively unknown coming into his Contender Series matchup, where he came in as an underdog against Will Curry. And luckily, I had enough tape to lean on there where I really thought that Santos had the chops to go out there and really cause Curry some problems. I think Santos was the better striker. He obviously showed that off. And I thought he had good enough defensive grappling to keep Curry away from his game. And we saw that come to fruition. Then he made his UFC debut against Ozzy Diaz in a fight that probably would have won Fight of the Night honors if it wasn't for Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev. But that was a fight where they combined for 266 significant strikes combined, but it was Diaz who was landing at a little bit better clip. He landed 51% of his strikes, whereas Santos only landed 37%. And I believe there was only like 5 or 6 strikes separating them in terms of the final total there. But Santos is all about that forward pressure, moving forward, really looking to overwhelm his opponents with volume and pressure, and that's where opponents often have to seem to have issues against him. But he is very hittable, right? He was able to get back into the win column against Danny Barlow in his following matchup. Another fight where he, threw, I believe it was 99 significant strikes, landed at a little bit better of a clip with 45% hit rate there. But he's a guy that loves to move forward, loves to put numbers on his opponents. His defensive grappling needs a little bit of work. Obviously, it works against a guy like Will Curry, but as he continues to take steps up in the UFC, he's going to struggle to really, defend takedowns and try to work back to his feet. He's really nothing special. He just loves to make wars, and he usually thrives in wars. In the Danny Barlow fight, it was kind of close, but it was Santos whose constant forward pressure is what the judges seem to be appeased by a little bit more, hence why he ended up getting the decision win there. Now he's going up against Susurkaev. Very fun fight here, given the aggressiveness of Santos, but I think it's going to be the slicker striking approach of Susurkaev that allows him to get this knockout win over Santos. Now Santos has pretty good durability. He ate some big shots from Danny Barlow as well, but I believe it's going to be the sniping style of Susurkaev, the power, the speed in which he throws with, and considering how hittable Santos is, I believe Susurkaev should be able to find that big shot to put Santos away. As of right now, I see the Susurkaev knockout at plus 125. Kind of hoping for a little bit better line there, but I believe Susurkaev will find that chin. Santos just a little bit too reckless for my liking as he enters the pocket, is okay with getting hit more than he should, and this is one of those fights where he's going to have to be very careful in terms of the amount of damage he ends up eating. So I'm going to go Susurkaev and Susurkaev by knockout. a little queasy about the minus 650. I think he wins. I think he wins at a pretty decent clip. But even if you favor him at 85%, that's still minus 563. And he's sitting at minus 650, right? Say Santos' chin holds up and he's able to walk through Susurkaev's offense and throw more damage. This could turn out to be much closer, but I don't have the confidence in Santos being able to eat the big shots of Susurkaev. So I'm still going to go Susurkaev by knockout, but I'll keep an eye on that KO prop and see how it ends up panning out.